Everybody, welcome to April 13th, 2020, quarantine day number 30. I really think it is, but I kind of lost count. You're going to want to go ahead and log into Google Classroom and pull up the Civil War Notes number 2. It's in the classwork section. It says scheduled for right here, but it should be up by 8 o'clock on Monday morning. All right. These look like your normal notes that you're going to fill out as you go through this video. On the bottom, there are 5 questions. So as we go through this, you're going to do both things at the same time. I know that this might be a little bit hard, but instead of doing a summary, we're going to answer these questions in complete sentences. Now, I need to remind you that complete sentences do not start with pronouns, it, he, she, they. They start with proper nouns, Abraham Lincoln, Robert E. Lee, the Civil War, the Union, the Confederacy. All of those are okay ways to start a sentence. A lot of you, for some reason, this group of students wants to start everything with a pronoun, and it drives me insane. So again, you're going to be doing 2 things at once. The notes are up here, and then down on the bottom is the questions. All right, I'm going to try and help you through this as well. All right, so here we go. Early on in the war, the Confederates dominate the Eastern Front. Now, oh man, I totally forgot. We have Ms. D helping us out today. As you can see, she's there with her cat. Wanted to give her a shout out and thank her for all that she's done for us this year. So she made the big TV there. All right. Early on in the war, the Confederates dominate, and the way that I like to explain this is typically the NBA playoffs are going on right now, and in the NBA playoffs, they have a series. So in this case, it's a 3-game series. So whichever side wins 3 games is going to win the war. Sound good? Also, incredibly bloody war. We talked about manufacturing, we talked about all of that stuff. And it's really hard for me to do 2 things at once. And manufacturing, industrialization allows these armies and these politicians to mass produce weapons of epic proportions. The tactics have not caught up to this. So early on in the war, you have men who are literally running through open fields into storms of gunfire, and it creates one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. By the end of the war, the Union especially adapts to this new technology, and they find things like cover, which we talked about during the Revolutionary War, and it helps them win the Civil War. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off with answer number 1. I even made a card for you so you can't miss it. Answer number 1, capture the flag. All right, listen, and then you might have to back up. Most of these battles, most of this war takes place in the 108 miles between Richmond and Washington, D.C. So the goal, whichever side, the South or the North, the Confederacy or the Union, takes over the other one's capital, wins the war. And again, early on, the North is awful and the South is dominating, mainly because of their generals. Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson absolutely annihilate the Northern generals. So that's what's going on. That's what it means by capture the flag. Whichever side takes the other one's capital wins. Now, I also have question number 2. It's a real easy one. It says 108 miles. I'm pretty sure that's it. So we've gotten question 1 and question 2 already taken care of. So once again, to repeat, whoever conquers this land between the 2 sides is going to win the war. All right. Again, 2 things at once. Here's your notes over here. And question number 3 is coming up. All right. Why? And I've already alluded to it. Number 3, why is the South so dominant? And the answer is that their generals are the best in the world. Their generals spent time cutting their teeth, getting better at being a leader, a military leader, during the Mexican-American War. And because of that, they have so much more experience. Robert E. Lee is goes down in history as one of the best war generals of all time, and he almost sides with the North. He actually lives in what is it's the cemetery. Arlington National Cemetery is where he lives. You could literally throw a rock from his house to Washington D.C. But because he technically lives in Virginia, he he sides with the South, and that is a major turning point. This war would have been over so much quicker had Robert E. Lee been a Northern general. So when you're looking at this map, you can see it right here. The South is dominating. 108 miles. They win 7 days, Chancellorsburg, Fredericksburg, and Manassas, and they're all the way up into Washington, D.C. So within the first couple months of this war, the South, is moving north, and they're on the doorstep of winning. Again, if you've missed number 3, it might be here. I can't remember. I can't do 2 things at once. All right. So the South is really close to winning this war. They're really close to D.C., and we come down to the Battle of Antietam. The Battle of Antietam is a key victory for the Union. The only battle that you need to remember that the South wins, or the North wins, is the Battle of Antietam. Question 4, right here. Question 4. The lost battle plans. Robert E. Lee pulls a middle school kid and he loses his homework. If he doesn't lose his homework, the North can't win the Battle of Antietam. And why is the Battle of Antietam important? Who remembers? Keeps the South from getting into Washington, D.C. Robert E. Lee loses his homework, and when he loses his homework, the North wins, and at the Battle of Antietam, they keep the South out of Washington, D.C. George McClellan is the first Union general, and he gets fired. If you're a Northern general, that's what you do. You get fired. He does not attack Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee loses the battle because he lost his homework, and he doesn't go after him. And when he doesn't go after him, Lincoln calls him weak, and he gets fired. So that's basically it. Early on in this war, remember, game 1 of a 3-game series, the South dominates, mainly because of Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. They push north all the way to Washington, D.C., and at the Battle of Antietam, the North wins. Why? Because Robert E. Lee lost his homework. That's really it for today. Y'all have a great day. Make sure that you're staying inside because I'm really sick of it. So if everybody doesn't stay inside, then we all have to stay inside for longer. Nobody's got time for that. Y'all have a great day.